Alright, so I took a better look at the actual skill system. And basically, you have 3 different completely custom chains you can build for square, triangle, and circle. So you can have like a multi-hit button, a heavy button, and like a reliable combo or something like that. Like whatever you want to build. You can also set something to the hold for each button. So that's actually quite a bit of stuff. And it's also just like very thoroughly customizable, which is really neat. So there's also this Duma stuff, and what appears to I think it's uh operating on a SIF. Yeah, it looks like DP. So it looks like you need different points to upgrade this, but they're all linear upgrades as opposed to an actual skill tree type thing. Love customizability? Me too. That's why Valkyrie Elysium looks really good. So also, while on break, I did this. So that happened.
This Larset place, anywhere near here?
We should be able to reach it by evening if we leave immediately.
You do realize we're running on no sleep, don't you?
If I may.
Wait, running on no sleep. I thought they fell asleep. Is that not what they just said?
We employ Duma. Its powers of levitation should let us skirt any dangers.
That true?
Oh, we forget they are a bashful sort. How inconsiderate of us.
Search is using VA. Use VA even on a bow to spot items up high. Flying to it. Oh, okay, that's weird. Crystal will change color when you can fly to something. Fly would cause collision. Okay. So this is like a way more open-ended version of the chain whip thing you got in Valkyrie Elysium. I guess the only trick is you have to actually have a target to get to. But you can aim around and actually find stuff. I wonder if it just works for every item. Definitely just a lot of mechanics I wasn't expecting, honestly, but then again, I didn't have anything to really expect with this game. So any actual, like, familiarity. Yeah, no, you can just really freely glide. That's kind of nuts. You can scan for stuff. So this game does have a mini-map, so it's got that over Valkyrie Elysium.
Target sighted.
That. It's actually just a Gravity Rush. If this is all that Gravity Rush is, then that's not very impressive, unfortunately. Yeah. Come on. Whatever.
Sweet!
And what? I got a what? A roly-poly what? What was that part? I wish I could just glide indefinitely, honestly. It's way faster. Oh, Duma points, okay. You know, obtain DP by collecting gems. You learn to strengthen Duma's skills. Get that out over the menu, go to Duma. Gems have many unsolved mysteries. They may appear in places that were supposedly never found before, or they may lie in places not easily reached. Alright. Can't scan unless you stand still. That's kind of unnecessary, honestly.
Great. Another dead end.
I am afraid so. It must have been the other way.
Let us return then.
I'm really appreciating that there's no cooldown though on your glide. You can just keep on dashing. Unless it's using some resource I'm not paying attention to. Oh, their health is super low. Whoa! I didn't notice that at all. Wow, they cannot take care of themselves. Oh, I found a new hard to reach location apparently. Oh, it's only 1 point per crystal. Ooh. Oh, you need like 50 for upgrades, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really getting what my scan's supposed to be accomplishing here, but it's also very short range, so I might just be missing the stuff. Surely there's like big crystals? Hopefully.
Sweet!
I wish this had more of an arc to it, like the momentum carried through instead of you just kind of stopping. That'd make it a little bit more fun.
Sweet!
Enemy is before us.
Copy that.
Let us put down this rat.
Aggression radar. Alright, so this is clearly the point where the game's real combat system sets in. So that's good. Oh, cool. Enemies about to attack will narrow their vision. That's a really cool little detail.
Unable to be destroyed.
Nope. What's his face is dead. Rest in peace to them. Oh, there you are.
Assault insufficient output.
This fight is far from finished.
Oh, what? You move your character a certain distance from the heat of battle, you will escape the enemy, and the battle will end. Did I do that? The battle gets too tough. However, you cannot run away from fated battles, and such as boss fights. Okay, but I didn't intend to run away. Guess it's time to eat some blueberries. Fated battles is pretty raw. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think.
Prep for engagement.
It's much more interesting than just certain battles cannot be escaped from. Versus just, no, this is too raw. You can't run.
Right.
Peacefulness. Love. Threat neutralized.
Sweet!
Oh, this looks big. Hold on. Yeah, 15. Wonder if I can get anything now. And there's still one mystery slot on the inventory to unlock. Alright. Decreases the VA gauge reduction. Increases the VA gauge gain. Less gauge lost by reorientating after a blind side. Okay. Extended stun lock. Okay. And then there's these things as well. And I got 35 so far, so I can't get any of these now. I need 50. Oh well. I don't even know where I'd start. It's hard to say what's actually valuable here. I assume now that I can glide, I don't have to worry about fall damage or anything like that. Hey, Gilligan on the Frontiers, thanks for redeeming a butterfly, a shrub, and crops. I'm sure wherever the Wolfos are, they appreciate it, hopefully.
Sweet.
Man, so many devs would be tempted to tie this dash to a gauge, and I'm so glad they didn't. Max AP increase. Max AP for attacks increases temporarily whenever you successfully execute a blindside attack. Okay. AP can increase or decrease from a range of 5 to 15. Carries over if you swap between characters. Nice. Okay. Alright, so you use this and you'll get more and more abilities to actually like do you actually like spam your attacks as opposed to being stuck with like the tempo being ruined. Though they did say temporarily.
Threat neutralized.
So I wonder if it just fades after a while, or if it's even just after the battle ends, you're just back to square zero.
Energy levels low. Destroyed.
The VA gauge does take a long time to restore, but I guess that's why you have to invest in those skills.
I will not fall. Not with my promise left unfulfilled.
Breath of the Wild run is bearable if you actually exploit a glitch. That's not great. Like I don't get why sprinting takes so much stamina in Breath of the Wild. Like swimming takes way less, but when you sprint, it's gone in seconds. Well, not even seconds. It's like a second maybe. Whoa, nope. Why did it go down? Oh, that's.
Initiate.
Damn it, that's annoying. So parts of enemies can be destroyed. Yeah. Again, this is just your usual Square Enix action RPG stuff, really. 3 seconds when you played it years ago. Maybe with max stamina. By default, your stamina is like embarrassingly low in Breath of the Wild. Various benefits such as additional rewards, disabling powerful skills. Yeah, it's very standard. Damage of parts also reduces enemies' main HP the same amount. Nice. I'm glad they have these big bold text things to tell you you're doing stuff right. Also, is that just flat out a chimera? Hope Tears of the British improves it. I mean, there's a good chance it will, because Nintendo is definitely the kind of company that will just scrap things to suit their new gameplay premise. Like Breath of the Wild 2 or Tears of the British, I guess, might not have stamina. Like, I don't know, have we seen a stamina gauge in the 15 seconds of footage they've deigned to give us? Hey, Ryan McBear, how's it going? We haven't seen gameplay of Breath of the Wild 2? Yeah, we have. Like, they don't show very much of it, but there is a little bit of footage of, like, Link reversing the direction of a boulder and stuff like what? Damn it.
Danger.
Uh-oh. I wonder how the game chooses where to respawn you with a system like this, where you can just dash everywhere. Oh, we might get a job. Nice. That's always good to hear. Some of my friends, when they got their education, it took them way too long to get a job opportunity. It pissed me off. I hate it when people put in the effort and don't get rewarded. Oh, that... Someone a while back said thieving scumbag, and I had no idea what they're talking about. The enemy is just called a thieving scumbag.
Acceleration. Destroy.
Live the fight another day.
It's been like 3 weeks since you graduated and you had like 0 luck. Yeah, a friend of mine literally like... They went back to school after 4 years of graduating to get more education because they weren't getting any luck, and then now they have like a not terrible job, but like for the amount of time they have spent in school, they should have had a job years ago, like a really good job. And I make it sound like they're like death due or something. They're doing really well for themselves, but it bothers me. Oh hey, hit me Tony, how's it going? Alright, surprise attack bonus, yeah. Man, blindsiding is like the name of the game here.
Enemies dead ahead.
Neutralized. Eliminated.
We are nearing the exit of the ruins.
5 years since I got a high school with 100 and nothing. Yeah, it's rough out there. Job hunting is miserably bad, can confirm. Yeah, it's... It'd be cool if things were good instead of bad. That would be very nice. I thought I said lacrosse weld. Oh, they're just now telling me how to use the map, but I already did that. Hey, wait, where's... Oh, immediately after that tutorial, they start talking, so I can't use the map.
If we continue southeast from here, we should be near the place where we first met.
Ah, that's so. Well, if it's on the way, mind if we stop by my pod for a sec?
Of course. Let us be off then.
There. I wonder if there ain't like towers or something I could climb in order to reveal locations to me. Because this map is very empty, but I assume there's actually stuff in it. I just don't know where it is. So this game has talked up a lot of different bonuses I can supposedly be getting, but I have no clue what those bonuses actually mean. Am I getting more rewards? Am I getting XP? Am I getting more damage? It's a mystery. I actually got a job earlier this year, but then after the first day I got a call from them saying, oops, we didn't want an IT guy, we want an electronics guy. Sorry, Jesus. Don't you love it when companies are run by competent people who know what they're doing? Alright, so I don't know. Can I break this? No. So these are different. These I can break. These are like mini treasure chests. Oh, I see some purple. Honestly, 1 point is like not even really worth it, but whatever. I guess that was like 10 points, so maybe that was worth it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Ah, I can't aim up very high.
Enemies up ahead. Right.
These enemies are weird. If anything, they kind of have a sci-fi energy to them, despite this supposedly being a fantasy planet.
Leaving combat area. Remain vigilant.
About time for a rest.
They even told me, oh yeah, you're an IT guy. You fine with not doing IT stuff? Man.
Prep for engagement.
Ready yourself.
Man. Noctis would be so jealous if he saw this game. This warp strike is so much better.
Neutralized.
We must pass through the forest to reach Larset village. Time offers us no respite.
I know. I'll be quick about it.
Enemy.
Will be ours.
Warning. Energy levels low.
I wish they would bother to explain what these things are. There's so many of them.
Sweet.
Threat detected ahead.
Should be just a little ways more to the
Destroy.
Man, now I'm even more baffled why they're playing that super intense music. Like, nothing happened. There was no drama.
Let me call my brother real quick before we head out. Antonio, do you read me?
Ray, loud and clear. Was anyone in the pod?
Nope, just freight. It was
It's really
one of
funny
the
how
pods Elena
15's combat
ejected
marketing was
right
all
before the
around
Aegis went down.
the warp strike, and then a bunch of games came out and did it better.
Ejecting?
I mean, the thing is, it's a
I
really
don't wanna hear
cool
it.
idea,
Okay?
and
the
then
ship's
15
captain,
didn't do anything
I
cool
have
with
to
it.
assume everyone on the crew's safe until accounted for. Right?
Because, like, even like in Kingsglaive, they have this cool thing where they have warp strikes, but the weapons adhere to physics. So like they toss them in an arc and then use the momentum from the real physics to like have an impact. And it's really cool. And that would be a really cool gameplay mechanic to have, but they don't do that.
Tell Dad not to lose any hair over it, will you?
Too late. He already has over the fact that you called me for help and not him.
Parents, man.
Hey, Ray, before you go, let me talk with your two traveling companions.
Hey, my bro says he wants to talk with you guys. Hello?
Yes?
Yesterday, I was pretty upset and said some pretty rude things to you. Apologies for not doing this face-to-face. I'd like to make a fresh start. My name is Antonio Lawrence, Raymond's older brother.
Sir Antonio, my name is Leticia Asarius. And with me is...
Albert Bergholm, sir.
I am liking how dorky these fantasy creatures are.
I'm sure Raymond here comes off as a strange and weird man. But please, look after me.
That animation Raymond just did is the most PS2 animation in this entire game so far.
Merchants.
That shrug and shaking your head, that has been in every like PS2 fidelity game Square Enix has ever made. That is in Crisis Core. I think that was even in like Final Fantasy VII. Like,
I appreciate it.
that is the animation.
Too much of an annoyance to your new friends. Good luck. Over and out.
You are loved.
I wish, but nah, he just can't help treating me like a kid. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to sleep in a bed. Let's get going.
Final Fantasy VII had one too, but Cloud didn't move his head. Yeah, that's why they had to update it for Crisis Core.
Come on, let's make our way to
Because
that
Zack
village.
definitely does that exact motion as one of his stock animations.
That village is to the south.
I really wish I could just hold down the button and keep on dashing. I want to just fly around.
Insufficient help. Threat eliminated.
So like another thing I do appreciate about these lower budget, lower fidelity games is that they're not at all terrified of the horrific video gamey concept of picking up random floating crystals. Because like that is the thing, is like as open world games have gotten more popular, the notion of doing video gamey things has also declined. And the thing is, you could fill up an open world with all kinds of like traditional video gamey collectibles if you weren't terrified of adhering to reality. Like honestly, that's like a big reason why I wish that Mario Odyssey was more than it was, because I think Nintendo could make an actual like very like old school take on a modern open world setting. Breath of the Wild does too, but in a very different direction. Hey, Glen on the Frontiers, thanks for redeeming a shrub. I hope wherever they are, the Wolfos are appreciating all these donations. No, I think I've leveled up a few times. Let me check the skill tree. No, just once, I think. I'm at 54, 79, and... Yeah, I don't know what exactly the SP payouts are here. And some of the skills just cost a lot, so I kind of want to just sit on it for a bit and then have a bunch to spend. Because, like, a skill costs, at least so far, 100. So you need at least 2 levels to get a skill. But then I got a defense bonus for Letitia, and it was only 25. But that also means it cuts into her ability to buy literally anything else. Hope they announce Odyssey 2. You really do? I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I was gonna say I'm sure Nintendo will try that format again, but Nintendo doesn't do that really. Like Breath of the Wild is an exception, not the rule. So like odds are the next Mario is gonna be its own brand new separate thing that's gonna have like whatever the new gimmick is. Then Switch 2 is gonna be a car peripheral. So they'll have a Mario game where you have to drive in order to move around. Mario's legs are replaced by wheels. Yeah, Galaxy 2 was also an outlier. And that's the thing is like, Galaxy 2, Majora's Mask, and probably Breath of the Wild, like anytime when Nintendo does iterate on something, it tends to go really well. They tend to take a lot of the lessons they learned and make something really special. So that's why I'm really confident in Breath of the Wild 2, or Tears of the British, despite knowing so little. Like, I was saying on Twitter a while ago, it's frustrating how little we know at this point, because it's gotten bad. Like, they have shown, it's been, I think, 3 years? Maybe 4-ish? But it's been a long time, and they've shown 3 trailers, and each one's been a minute and a half. And they haven't shown a cutscene since. And it's just gotten real dire in that way. But I still think it's going to turn out really good, because whenever Nintendo iterates, it does tend to be very, very good. And like, it's weird, because Breath of the Wild is presumably, like, they're presumably using Breath of the Wild's assets. So the fact that they spent this much time on it, I assume they must either be making a whole other set of overlapping worlds with the sky stuff and the caves, or they are just drastically reworking the world and just throwing out a bunch of the old stuff.
Sweet. Yeah, I can't see squat in here with all these trees. Hey, are we going the right way?
We are. Stay on this course.
The forest is teeming with danger. Remain vigilant.
Prepare yourselves for battle.
Hard to make precision landings with this, but I don't think that's really what the point is. I think it's just supposed to fly around and have fun.
Destroyed. Threat warning. Energy levels low.
Well, that's over with.
Hope the next 3D Mario leans way more into the adventure aspect. Yeah, they should definitely lean into trying to be more like Sonic Adventure. I agree. Like, it's really weird how Mario Odyssey, it's, as far as I'm concerned, its biggest saving graces are its flavor, which is very weird to say about a Mario game. Like, as much as I didn't enjoy Mario Odyssey, I'm still, if they announced Mario Odyssey 2, I'd be very interested, because if there is any company who, despite receiving no real criticism, would address their flaws, it's Nintendo. Like, a lot of the times, they'll make games that address problems I've had with games that people will get mad at me for saying. So, like, they're aware of it, even if their fans are very uncritical. Which is like one of those cool fringe benefits of a company, like actually being in it for the art of the game, like design itself.
If we continue on our southward course, we should depart the forest.
Excellent. The village is just beyond it then?
Unfortunately not. It will take...
Oh. I guess that was a loading zone. It's weird also seeing PS4 games go back to having loading zones. Like, it's interesting how all these old game design concepts just come back as they start pushing against the boundaries of what these consoles can pull off.
We are now entering the Larkus region. Come, let us continue to the south.
Right, let's go. Much easier without all the trees, too.
Now this looks nice. The grass is still way too patchy, but this golden light is really nice. It's interesting how a weird thing that comes up from like lower fidelity stuff on newer consoles is that you can start doing like really nice, not very intensive lighting and really high quality like depth of field and blurs and stuff, and that really does add a lot even if you don't actually have an amazing looking like high fidelity textures or models or whatever. How am I doing on Doom opponent points? I'm probably close to 50. Oh, that field in that does look like almost like old school RuneScape. Like that is low fidelity. Side note in terms of platforms, I hate how absurdly cool Frontiers looks. I wasn't planning on picking it up until a few months after launch, but now I need it. Yeah, that's the power of competent marketing. Honestly though, it's a Sonic game. It's gonna go down in price pretty quick, so if you can hold off, you might as well. Like I'm saying that as someone who plans to get it day one. Like you can get it for less. It won't be hard. All right, increased scanning range. I still don't get what scanning's really for. And then this lets me do more stealth attacks. Can't believe even Japan wants Frontiers. Yeah, that's wild. I can't believe they finally made something that appeals to the country that the game is being made in. All right, I don't know. I guess I'll just work my way across gradually.
Updating system.
All right, now it's level 1. Now I'll get everything else to level 1, and then 2, and so on. Wait. You know, does it only cost 35 to get it to level 2? That's weird. Huh. Yeah, it's really like kind of uncanny encountering like this much positivity for a Sonic game. I don't think I've seen that since I was like a fairly young child.
The village of
It's
Larset
weird. I
lies to
guess
our west.
Generations, but the thing is that even Generations had a lot of people going like, yeah, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D. Like there was even like that
I second the latter.
like famous like one of those early moments of social media clapping back where the Sonic Twitter replied to some now dead games journalist site where they were talking about how, oh, if you thought the Generations was good, you're delusional. And they said, you know, you shouldn't do that. That's really dickish. And then that site's epic clapback was to go, well, in order to unlock the reply to this tweet, you have to collect all the red rings. And it's like, you didn't play this game, did you? You have no idea how Sonic games work. You're not engaging it with it on the most basic level. Alright. We've been wandering the wilderness for a while. We're finally gonna get a real look at what technology we're looking at. What level of fantasy? They did mention airships. So which Final Fantasy roughly are we inhabiting? Is this gonna be a 4? Is it gonna be a like sub 4 technology levels? We're going for like a 6 kind of steampunk. What are we looking at? We're gonna be like KZ. in other words, saying about Sonic. It's very easy. It's like Kingdom Hearts. If you just play the games, then you'll have normal opinions. I mean, you have to fight the rival bosses, and you have to do 3 missions to get the keys in order to progress through each era. But yeah, no,
Made it at last.
because they just
You must be
engaging with video games is hard. They decided that what you need to do is
makes us stand up.
collect all the red rings, those completely optional things that unlock like
Do
concept
not
art
think
and
it an
stuff.
issue, as it closely resembles a semiomancer's orb, such as the one over there.
A semiomancer's orb, huh? All right then.
Besides, I would like to prioritize our lodgings. A nice rest will do us all some good.
Don't listen to Twitter, NeoGaf, GameFAQs, or etc. That's the lesson. I mean, yeah, I mean, don't listen to like any consolidated opinions about anything that's not the most mainstream popular thing ever. Like, that's just internet rule like 0. Alright, they highlighted this guy, but you can't talk to him, so okay. Oh, there's actually like stuff on the map. Oh, look, it's just icons for people. Okay. Blah! What? Huh? Oh, I can interact with it. A little bit. Weird. What it... Big Chungus is real. It's true. Big Chunko the Scrunko. Alright, so the level of fantasy I'm picking up on here is stock MMO fantasy.
We have arrived. Anyone home?
This thing looks ripped out of Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that Final Fantasy XIV assets were plopped into a lower budget game.
Oh? You looking for a match? Fine then. I'll teach you everything you need to know.
What? You do not have an Isoa deck. Alright. Triple triad, I guess. Very 16th century Holland. Yeah. With all that magic and like monsters and stuff. Why are these doors not openable, but those ones are?
Welcome. Are you travelers?
In addition to fully recovering HP. Come on! You can eat food? You're not beating the Final Fantasy 15 allegations. Though effects have their limits, they are powerful, so make good use of them. And they just consolidated the meals into staying at inns, so you don't have to stay at a campsite and lose out your EXP bonus in order to get a food bonus. This Babylon's Fall game doesn't exist. You're right. It doesn't exist. Well, 150% less likely to flinch when attacked. That is a big percentage. Hey, Ratatouille! Wow, it all came full circle. You can resist poison, which makes sense, considering it's presumably made by a rat. Or a Suzerain, as it's called. All right, these are like weird specific things though, like poison resistance, earth resistance set to 20. Huh. That's weird. That's a weird way to phrase it. You could just say poison resistance plus 10. Alright, I guess this is the most... I haven't really had a problem with flinching though, but honestly, the fights so far have just been like not something I have to engage with at all. So like it's hard to even say what would be useful. And 15% damage dealt to plants. Yeah, like this is really, really specific. Yeah, I'll go with this, I guess.
You must be tired. Please, feel free to rest here.
Changing your base stats instead of just purely boosting it, but it is still just boosting it. I doubt that the food is 99% of their budget. That's pretty much only if you're making a Vanillaware game. That's when you put all the money into food.
That's the kind of meal that makes you glad to be alive. All right, so where do you want to begin?
First, would you mind telling us whence you hail?
If you thought I said some weird stuff before, brace yourself. I'm from another world, one that's far, far away in the sky.
Another world, you say?
Far away in the sky?
You know, like how you can cross a mountain to get to another village, or the ocean to get to another continent.
Yeah, so imagine that you're
If you
crossing
fly
a
high
star
enough,
ocean.
You can cross the sky and reach other worlds.
Maybe even
The stars?
a
Which
star
do you
ocean,
call home?
the divine force.
Well, no. 1, it's a planet, not a star. 2, you can't see it from here.
I've never heard something so asinine.
Might decrease it
that's
depending on your
because
armor.
people on planets
Maybe
like yours
I don't see it
usually
working
learn
any
this for a
differently than
couple
it just
hundred more
applying a
years.
plus 10 variable to what you have.
Anyway, my job is to transport cargo between planets. And we now know Duma was my cargo. My vessel, the Yidis, was attacked by another planet's battleship. And I was forced to flee
I wonder
here.
what Ida means.
Right
That's a
now,
Final
I'm
Fantasy
looking for a
XIV
crewman.
character. I know that
Gotta be
much.
traipsing about here
So it
somewhere.
must mean something.
Oddly lackadaisical way of describing being lost in an unknown land.
She's got a good head on her shoulders. And she's great with languages. Roughing it a little won't bother her. And now, I'd like you to answer something for me. What's a princess doing sneaking around outside her castle, with only one bodyguard in tow?
Because I too am looking for someone. Per my intelligence, at one point, he was seen entering the
Honestly,
Medune ruins.
And this is just
Therefore,
probably
I
more to
have
do
a
with
proposition.
the
In
model
return for
looking
helping in
weird,
your
but
search for
she
the
looks
body,
too young for how
I
her
would
voice
like you to
sounds.
assist us in ours.
She has a very normal sounding
Sure, but,
princess
I
voice,
don't know how much
but she
I'll-
looks like
I'm
she's
not
way
even from
younger.
here. The person we seek is
This
hardly
guy's voice is
congenial,
fine
but
though.
he
It perfectly
is
fits his
inquisitive.
look.
Your presence will be more persuasive than any argument we can make.
Sounds like I got my work cut out for me.
Perhaps some further information would help. His name is Midas Felgreed. He was a former Meister, one of the 3 most accomplished semiomancers
Meister?
in all of Asarius.
Private action. Talking to an ally somewhere in town, so it may result in a private action. Your relationships with allies will change depending on how private actions go. Choose wisely to deepen your friendships. Hell yeah.
I really want to run around looking for a
See, everything's got S-links. They're just
Same
around the
time,
corner in Valkyrie Elysium,
know
I'm
anything
sure.
about this planet, so I'm not gonna find Chloe on my own. What do you think? Yeah, finally get to a bed and I can't even sleep. Maybe a walk will tire me out.
Alright, I have until the 5 food runs out. I'm not sure what measurement of time that is. Imagine the JP voice is a bit cuter and reserved. I mean, we could find out, I think. Assuming this isn't one of the games you have to reset everything to change the voice. Wow. Looks like you might not even be able to change it at all. That's a shame. Just locked in once you start? Yeah, alright. Hey, Romano 104, how's it going? Meister is a real word? I mean, yeah.
You want to face off? Don't blame me if I wipe the floor with you.
Okay, so I guess everyone you can talk to in this game wants to play cards with you.
Good grief. Hey.
Private
sleep
action.
either, huh?
Sleepless
I'm
attendant.
simply thinking. Do not try to curry favor with me.
Hey, buddy,
Curry,
good
you
travel
say?
companion.
Favor,
Button
you
head
say?
with me.
Silence your tongue.
Now let's go back to the inn and have a private action
It's
together.
late, so silence your tongue a bit. Okay? Don't want to blow your cover now.
Her Highness attracts much attention, including those of your ilk. Outwards, it may be best for royalty to be cordial with commoners, but such friendliness makes her vulnerable.
You know you're not gonna change her by being the uptight one, right?
The issue lies in the fact that no one other than me cares to remonstrate her.
Listen, you've been through a lot, alright? You gotta get some rest.
Her Highness said she could not sleep, so she went walking. I must be prepared to aid her should anything unfortunate happen.
It's interesting that
I
they
see.
say that the private
Very
actions
diligent.
will change your
My
relationship,
sworn
not
duty as a
improve.
Kingsguard.
Like, it's interesting to think
I'll
this
go
might be more
sleep instead
dynamic
of
than an actual, like,
loitering
S-Link
about like
system or
some lad.
supports from Fire Emblem or
Bother
something.
me.
Yeah, that's real nice. Damn, man. You don't have to be so ruthless.
Alright, is that... Oh! Stop mode. I can freeze time. Take your time to use items. Change strategy and select targets. Huh. Okay. That's weird. You can use better healing items but only outside the stopped time. Wait, but not in battle? Then why not? Okay. And then press circle to cancel quick HP recovery. Weird. Oh, weird. Huh. Alright. Well, that's something. What I really wanted was check the menu. Alright. Oh, I thought that was a heart, but no, it's just 3 people. So... Okay, so but your party are green arrows, so they're easy to find. Okay, that's... This thing! Man, the NVs are like shiny. It's weird. There we go.
Oh, here to take me
God, it's literally every person you can talk to is just wants to play
Let's see
cards.
what you can do. Give it your best shot.
This better be a hell of a card game.
Sweet!
Yo,
Is
Final Fantasy VIII
something
too?
wrong? Trouble
Could be.
sleeping?
Yeah, a little. I've been taking walks till I get tired.
My apologies. I should not be burdening you with our troubles.
Hey, I'm the one who said we should join up. I would have never been able to take care of food and lodging by myself. So don't be shy. Let me help you too.
Well, if you insist on it then.
Atta girl. We don't need more than one negative Nelly around, and Albert's got us covered there.
I am the reason he remains so troubled. Please try not to think ill of him.
No, I know. I guess he's, been through a lot, right?
Honestly, a
All those
very
worries that turn
Titus and
anyone's
Yuna
smile
dynamic
upside
building
down.
here.
Do you feel no need to inquire, to fill in said details?
Where we are is within the kingdom, and Albert's always wary of the Empire. The princess of said kingdom is sneaking around looking for a banished wise man. I can imagine said details. There's bound to be bumps in the road ahead. Let's at least enjoy the quiet while we can, princess.
Might I then ask something of you?
Sure, name it.
Can you play cards with
Refrain
me?
from calling me by my royal title and use only my name?
I gotta think that's gonna make Albert a little mad.
Yes, well, we are undercover, and this would make things enjoyable for me. Do you agree, Ray?
Yep, gotcha.
Excellent. Now, with that off my chest, I do believe I shall return and rest. You would do well to do the same.
You got it. Good night, Leticia.
Yes. Have a good night, Ray.
Alrighty, let's head
Alright,
back to the
friendship boosted.
Oh, and hey, do you think I could keep using this weapon?
Of course. Consider it yours. There is also a merchant within the village. Shall we take a look tomorrow?
Alright, we're gonna get into the gear
Sounds
stuff
good.
now, hopefully.
Gotta be ready for anything around here. Alright, I think I'm finally getting tired. Guess I will head back.